Okay, I think I'm recording. It looks yes. Okay. All right. So we are going to start week 4 for 6 weeks to success. I'm just going to share my screen here. Okay. You guys got that? You see everything?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I appreciate the patience. Okay, cool. So yeah, so here we are, week 4 of 6 weeks to success. I think everybody seems like they're excited and enjoying it so far and getting some, I've seen some really great posts in the group. So that's really exciting. So far we've gone through some product knowledge, the pillars of, the pillar on belief, some really great training on bookings, of course, your passion and being able to share that with others, and then great host coaching training and skill. So what we're going to be talking about this week is going to be recruiting and how to, put all of those kind of together with recruiting. Does anybody have any questions right now, I guess, of what was happening last week with host coaching? Anybody have anything they want to share or they're excited about, or maybe something that you were not excited about, or you're maybe scared of, or maybe videos or something that you guys want to share? Anybody? Just here for information. Nobody has anything to share that happened, maybe even something good last week that you got, like a booking, or you did something that you don't normally do, stepped out of your comfort zone at all? Nobody? Okay, if you guys come up with something, you could post it on the group. Okay, so we are going to be discussing recruiting, and that's always something that I guess kind of has differences with how people feel about if they want to do it from the get-go or not, if they feel a little afraid of it or not. So we're going to kind of eliminate some of those fears, if there's any, and talk a little bit more in detail. So basic thing is, you guys, out of everybody, we all know as consultants already that, being a Pampered Chef consultant just helps your life, right? It makes it easier if you don't like to cook, like me. I don't like to cook, but I've found a lot of better recipes, a lot of easier ways to get things done in the kitchen. It also helps people with being able to have an extra income, or maybe supporting the income they already have coming in. It's also going to help them with, maybe there's a job that they don't like, that you're able to maybe help them get out of. I've heard a lot of those stories in the short period of time that I've been doing Pampered Chef. So we know already things that we've gotten and we've gained from being in Pampered Chef as a consultant. So why not share that with other people, right? It also is going to help you to be able to grow your team, grow your own personal business, and it's going to help you build on your leadership skills. So a lot of great potential for both helping others as well as helping yourself as well. And of course, it's really rewarding to be able to see how you can change the lives of people. I have a newer consultant on our team that was really excited a couple weeks ago that she was able to already book a vacation for her family to go away for April vacation, and she paid for it with her income that she's earned from Pampered Chef already, because she does have a full-time job. That's pretty exciting, and she was pretty excited about it, so I was happy for her. Something to definitely be proud of. Okay, so how do we start? Some of the options are when you're at a cooking party or on a virtual party too, you can look for some red flag questions. So maybe some questions that people are asking about what you're doing, and that kind of shows that they want to know a little bit more, right? They want to know details. I want them to be nosy. I want them to ask questions, and when they do, then that kind of puts a little red flag up for you that says, oh, maybe check back with that person and see what they thought. So definitely noticing the people that are there early, or the people that are kind of lingering after a cooking party, because potentially those are people that either may, one, have an interest in the business, It may also be 2, someone that really has an interest in doing in cooking and maybe recipes and things like that, or maybe someone that would be interested in even just figuring it all out and maybe hosting their own party too. But that can definitely be, you know, something that you want to keep in mind too. If anybody ever offers to help, oh, can I help you with your bags, or can I help you with the dishes, or can I help you with that? Or of course, you know, as you're using certain products, you know, my suggestion would be let them help, right? Because then they're started to be in your shoes a little bit of seeing like what you do, and then they get a taste for it. Maybe it's something that they decide, oh, you know what, this isn't so hard, or this is something I can definitely see myself doing. So that's another really great thing to be able to think about too. We're going to talk about this a little bit more as we go down, but you definitely want to tell your story. So anybody that does cooking parties, anybody on here do cooking parties at all? Any of you guys? Yeah, a couple people looks like. So, you know, when you're in front of people, you can kind of see the reactions on their face when you're telling your own story about why you do Pampered Chef, why you stay with Pampered Chef, things that you have gotten out of it and that you enjoy, and that's something that may change over time, especially if you've been around for a little while. You know, you definitely want to get people involved in that, and that's going to allow you to continue to build a rapport with them and build a connection. You're going to want to talk to the people, obviously, that are talking in the group, because if you're in front of them doing a little demo and they don't have a problem talking while you're talking, maybe they wouldn't mind being a consultant and being able to talk in front of people. Clearly, they don't have a problem with having attention on them. If they're in a group and there's somebody else talking and they're still talking, maybe they don't mind the attention on them. So that might be something that you want to follow up with them, and maybe they had questions they were talking about, and that's why they were talking during the demo, okay? And then anybody, of course, we all have them, right? The ones that are like, oh my gosh, I have this, I have that, I have everything Pampered Chef. And if they joke about becoming I have so much stuff, I should become a consultant. You know, are they joking about it, or is there maybe a little bit behind that where they're kind of thinking, maybe I should, you know? And, you know, like we all say, you never know unless you ask. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to bring it up and talk to them about that. Okay. So some of the red flag questions that may come up that would be kind of like letting you know this is someone that may have an interest in the business, or at least wants to know more, is obviously, you know, something about how many shows you do. I often have people ask, how many shows a week do you do? How many virtual parties do you do? Are there a lot of people that live in this area? You know, when do you do your parties? Are they always on the weekend? Do you do them during the week? Do you get to keep all of the products? I've never had someone ask me if my husband minds if I do that, but I've heard other people have that question. No, they talk about what you're bringing. Do you have to bring all of that stuff? Do they tell you what to bring? Do you have to keep an inventory? So those are all questions that people are trying to get in a little bit deeper and know what it is that you're doing. And maybe it's because they're trying to scope it out and decide if it's something that they want to do for themselves. So those are all questions, and of course others that you want to keep in mind to kind of make yourself a mental note of that person, okay? So like I said, we're going to talk about telling your story. You want to talk about how you got started, why you got started with Pampered Chef. Is it because you love the products and you wanted to be able to get any of the new products that came out and to get them at discounts? And if that's the case, share that, because there's people that just join Pampered Chef for the discounts, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That may change over time for them. They may end up starting because they like the discounts, and then they say, wait a second, I can earn a little extra money from this, and then I can use that to earn, you know, to pay for my products. Or it may be that you started just to be able to pay for a certain expense, like a wedding, or I know a lot of you probably have heard the story from Laura Polito about she just started to buy her kids a swing set, and that's the only reason she started. She was going to buy the swing set, done, over with, and here she is, however many, I think 17 or 18 years later, she's still doing Pampered Chef, and we all know she loves it, and she's got a lot of success and has a really great, growing, thriving team. So anything can happen, really. You want to talk about why you stay with Pampered Chef. Are you benefiting from the income? Are you benefiting from being able to be at home if you have kids and you didn't want to work out of the home? Or are you benefiting from being able to pay off debt, or other reasons? And what are some things you're excited about? Are you excited about being able to grow your team? Are you excited about having the flexibility that you want? So those are some things that you can share, but you want to make it that it's getting to the point, letting them know, and a little bit more about you, but then also, cutting it short and not having it be too much information. So one of the other things that we talk about too is, besides looking at our customers at our parties and red flag questions and talking to them, but do you talk to your hosts? That's something that I think we all talk often about, but not everybody says that they talk to their house. And I don't know if any of you have seen this before, but this I saw in the training back in January this past year, from Claudia Bazar, and it pretty much changed my business and my way of thinking about sharing the opportunity. Even though I had been doing recruiting a decent amount in my first, that was still my first year, so I wasn't even at 1 year yet this past January. I totally changed my mentality when Claudia had done the training on this, because she says she asks her hosts 5 times about the opportunity. And before, I had asked some people, I didn't ask everybody, and I was only asking them maybe once, right? Does anybody else mostly ask their hosts like once, if they ask their hosts once about the opportunity? Any at all? I find that that's a common thread a lot of times, that people either don't ask them, or they maybe ask them once and then they say, no, I'm not interested, and they go, okay, and they leave it at that. But I love this. This is actually this little graphic I keep in my phone, in my favorite photos. And every single time I talk to a host, I pull it up on my phone, so I have the wording right in front of me. And the same thing if I have a virtual host, I use the same thing. So I'll write out to them and just be like, okay, just wanted to let you know when we're setting up your party that, you can totally be able to change your party into a launch party, which means you're going to get the host benefits on top of the commission from this party. Are you in a market for some extra income? And leave it at that and see what they say. I've had people respond, I have too much going on right now. I've had people respond, actually, I've been thinking about doing something. I've had people respond, no, thank you, not really interested. And, other various things. So I just let it go what it is, and then of course I'll bring it up again. Everybody's so exciting. They're RSVPing. It sounds like everybody really loves Pampered Chef. You can also add in there if they've gotten some orders already, outside orders. People are already starting to place orders. Are you sure that you don't want to give the business a try? And I've done all of these. I've actually done all of these multiple times, where I've gone through all 5, posting them all. And I've had probably at least 75% of the people on my team have joined after me asking at least 3 to 5 times. Very rarely have they asked, have they said that they wanted to do it after the first time. So that's huge to me. That means I would be lacking, on most of my team members if I stopped asking them after the first time. And then, I'd be doing them a disservice, really, because where would they be right now if they weren't having the opportunity of Pampered Chef in their life? So I'm glad I asked multiple times. I'm glad they let me ask multiple times. And I'm glad that they said yes, and gave it a shot. So that's something that's huge. And I definitely would say to keep it in mind and use it and see what it does for you. Okay. Another thing that you can do, a lot of consultants do different things, but some consultants like to do recruiting activities at their parties, and it can be in your virtual party or it can be in your cooking parties. Some people like to do a ticket game. Some people like to add questions in the back of the catalogs. So if you have catalogs that you do not send home with your customers, you can just print out different questions and just tape them on the very last page of the catalog. So when it comes time in your, after you're wrapping up and you say, okay, you know, I want to have everybody be able to have an opportunity to ask me questions about my business. And when you do that, then you will get an extra ticket towards the door prize that we're doing. You know, you can look at the back of the catalog and there's some questions on there if you don't have one already yourself. And then that kind of takes the pressure off them trying to figure out something to ask you if they don't know what to ask. And some people will. Otherwise, you could always sneak over to them and say, hey, Sarah, I heard that maybe you wanted to know how many hours a week I work. Or you can go over to someone and say, oh, you know, were you just asking about what kind of trips we can earn? You know, and just make light of it and kind of be able to bring up the subjects of different questions. Some people will make up little cards that they'll pass around. Did you know cards? So there'll be questions on those that people can pass around and they can ask those. A lot of consultants I know do a why bag. For those of you that are not familiar with that, it's just a bag that they use and it could be anything. I personally don't do that, but I've seen a lot of others and I think it's really fun. So they'll put in there things that have to do with why they do Pampered Chef. So maybe there's a photo of somebody in your family, or it could be, you know, it could be a item from maybe a trip that you want to be able to earn, or it may be something like that you want to be able to pay off credit card debt. So if you had credit cards in there, so all kinds of different things. And it could, I mean, obviously would be personal to yourself. And then of course there's the recruiting slide, which if you guys haven't seen it, it is for sale. You could purchase it in supplies on Consultant's Corner. And it's that big laminated fold out that has all the different benefits on the one side with bookings, when people book a party and all the benefits they get, and the opposite side is all the benefits they get when they join your team. So that's a visual right in front of their face to kind of show them all that they get, which is pretty cool. Okay, so those are some options that you can do at parties, and that last one, obviously, you would last couple ones you would do at a cooking party. Okay. So with virtual parties, like I said, some of the last ones you can do, but then also you can play a game to be able to see if anybody had any questions about being a consultant. You can do a commission check game, so different things on how much maybe they think that you could potentially earn. I do a lot of posts in my virtual parties on being a consultant. I do at least 4 or 5 on, you know, at one will be like, ask me questions about my business, you know, and just trying to see who comments on those posts and maybe even likes them. And those are people that you may want to reach out to and just say, are you just commenting on the post so you can get, you know, like extra tickets towards the chance of the giveaway in the game, or did you really have some information that you wanted to know? And then of course, either is okay, but you genuinely want to be there for them if they do have questions and they want to know more information. So, you know, reaching out to them or commenting on there, oh, sent you a message, is definitely something that you should do when people comment or like the posts on being a consultant. And then also, you know, posting things about the different perks. Like some people don't realize that we can earn free products. Some people don't realize we earn a commission. Sometimes I've had people come up to me and say, oh, well, what do you do if you don't want the products that you earn? And I tell them I earn money too. It's not just products. I do earn a commission. So, you know, some people are not aware of what we actually do or the benefits to it. I have to tell you guys, I hosted parties for over 12 years as a customer, as a host, and the person that, you know, that was my consultant never fully told me about any of the benefits of becoming a consultant. She would ask at my party, she'd say, oh, do you want to do this and this to be your party? And I'd say no, and she'd go, okay. And that was pretty much the extent of it. So for over 12 years, you know, she potentially could have had a team member, and, you know, a pretty successful team member, because I've been doing pretty well since I started. So, you know, had I known a little bit more information, you know, I knew about earning trips, but I didn't really realize that that's something that anybody could do. I kind of thought it was something you had to do if you've been around for a while. I knew about earning free products, but I didn't really understand the extent of it. So it's something to keep in mind, you know, how much information you're giving people that they want. And then also, you know, calling and talking to the guests that came, or even messaging them if you want to on Facebook, confirming their order. Typically, I will send out a little message saying, were you able to find everything okay? Did you need any recipes for the products that they ordered? Like full service checkout like you would if you were in a cooking party. And then, of course, you're able to touch base with them and say, hey, is this something that you think maybe you might be interested in doing? What I've been doing here, were you watching me and being able to see what I do in there as well, okay? And then, of course, when you touch base with them about the order afterwards, you can continue to build that rapport. So there's some posts on here, that you guys, that are really great. And I'm just going to scroll through them really quickly, but I will post them in the 6 weeks success group so that you guys can have them available. But these are really great if you've not seen them. Some are on marketing imagery to be able to post in your parties or even on your website, on your Facebook page. So here's a great one on being a consultant and some of the benefits. These are some just very basic ones. And again, I'm just going to post them all in the group, but I wanted to show you guys. So these are just some great posts to be able to kind of get the conversation started. And it's something you can post every now and then, just gives a little bit of basic information, or even prompting them to ask anything. Little quotes are always fun that you can just post and just, have a little verbiage next to it. So some of these, like I said, are just more of just to catch their eye. And then, of course, a bunch of us have seen the different apron ones, right, on the descriptions, because some people say, I already have a full-time job, I don't need to do another one. They don't really realize that you can do it very casual as a hobbyist or as a part-time consultant. Sometimes they don't get that. And then this, of course, is really fun because some people don't realize that we can earn trips. When I tell them I've earned 2 trips already, they're like, oh, how do you do that? They don't realize that's something you can do, okay? Something to keep in mind when you're at the party is, or even online, are you really getting to know your customers? Are you trying to find out some information? So as you're setting up your party, if you do a cooking party, are you able to listen into conversations of things that people are talking about? Or are there things that people are talking to you about that may give you a little bit more information of who they are and kind of what they have going on in their life? Because often when we don't talk about the opportunity, we're prejudging and we're basically saying that we don't think everybody in that room or everybody on that party would benefit from the benefits that we have through this. And one of the things that stuck with me at my very first kickoff, my second kickoff, that was last year, that Grace Spot was saying how she had gone to a party. It was a party for a pretty affluent woman, and I guess she had said to Grace, beginning of the party, do me a favor and don't mention to anybody here about the whole business thing. Everybody here has a lot of money. They're all very well off. Nobody here needs a job, right? And Grace's response was basically, well, it's part of my job. I do have to talk about it, but I appreciate your concern, and I'll be brief, and she did. And she said at the end of the party, when people were checking out, a woman came up to her and basically was saying, can you really make money doing this? And Grace said, absolutely. And the woman let her know that she was in a very abusive relationship and she was looking to get out of it. And this is something that would be able to allow her to do that. Financially, it would help her, and it's flexible enough for something that she needed. So, that's something that you wouldn't know, but the fact that she talked about that at the party with the benefits of being a consultant and the flexibility and the potential income, that's something that maybe that woman would have never talked to Grace about at the end at checkout. So you definitely want to keep that in mind, that you're going to be potentially helping people in lots of different ways, but potentially changing a lot of people's lives. Okay. So we all say this, and it goes for bookings and it goes for recruitings and a lot of different things, but basically if you don't ask, the answer is always no, right? So if you don't go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't step forward, then you're always in the same spot. And it's so true, you know. I think we don't ask sometimes for different things because we are afraid of rejection. We're afraid of failure, you know, but really, if you don't ask, you know, you'll never know what the answer is. And you have to get some no's before you're going to get to a yes anyways, right? So why not just ask and see what the answer is, okay? So just thinking about recruiting, and it's not as big and scary as some of us think it is. It's really just a conversation with people. You know, what are they looking to get? What are they looking to earn? What is it that their needs are? You know, and letting them know how they're able to do that. And just so you guys are aware, especially if you're someone that's newer, you are not responsible for totally training people that join your team. That's what your directors are there for. That's what all the directors are there for. So don't feel like it's, you know, I'm brand new and I'm responsible now for having to train an entire, you know, team or a couple people that join my team or whatever. You know, that's what your directors are for. So it's not that you have to worry about that piece. It kind of takes a little bit of pressure off, I think. Okay. So how do you know what to say to people? You know, it's really just easy, and it's not something that you have to worry about. It's not really something that you have to worry about coming into all the answers and having to, you know, have a lot to say. There's digital interview cards online, and I'm going to share the next clip is actually the link for where you can find a lot of the verbiage to say. So you can use that as well. Definitely you want to refer the person that has an interest in talking to yourself and your director for a three-way call, so they can be able to do, so they can be able to ask any questions they have. Your director as well as yourself can be able to offer any tips or any suggestions to them of things that they are curious about. And like I said, you know, you don't have to worry about doing the full training as well. Okay, so here is the here's the link, and I'll post this in the 6 weeks group for those of you that don't know where to find it. But this is all the wording and that you're able to find in the chat guide to be able to give you the words to say and what you're talking about it. Okay. So here's another couple fun posts that are, again, going to get the conversation started or at least pique interest for some people, okay? Because, see, if you post something like this in like a virtual party, you know, some people are like, oh, I can make a couple $100 doing this, like just for working a few hours a week. Like that's, I mean, I wouldn't mind doing that. I can sacrifice a couple hours a week, you know, or some people are like, really? Wow. Like, you know, I could potentially work 3 to 6 hours a week or so and maybe make like, you know, $600-700 or something. Okay. That's something I can see myself doing. So it's a nice visual for people because it's not just telling them, hey, you could do this. It's kind of breaking it down to show them, hey, I have, you know, a car payment I'd like to get taken care of. This is something I can do and do 1 to 3 hours a week to take care of that. Or this is, you know, I want to be able to contribute to our mortgage or whatever it is for them. Okay. A couple other posts, and again, I'll post these all in the 6 weeks group, but being able to try to find out more about people, you know, in a virtual party, you're not obviously able to talk with them as much unless you're messaging each other or you're making comments, but they're making comments and posts. But little broad posts like this are helpful to just kind of see where people are at and see what they are looking to get and look and see what they are, what they're kind of thinking about, okay? Because sometimes it's just something as easy as them making a mention to something and they don't realize the potential. Okay, so the breakdown of basically how they're going to get started. You know, some people think it's too big. Some people think it's something that's not, you know, potential for themselves. And then when you break it down and say, listen, this is what you're basically doing. You know, you're being able to provide products that people already love. So you're not selling them. You know, because I often have people say, well, I'm not a salesperson. I'm like, listen, you don't need to be a salesperson. The products sell themselves. All you're really doing is providing the opportunity for people to be able to have access to those products, right? And then you give them like recipes or ideas or tips, but it's really, the catalog is there for a reason, and the catalog is what sells the products. You talk to them about the host rewards and how easy it is to book shows for them, because, you know, the hosts like their host rewards. They like to be able to get products for free. They like to get them discounted, and then that's a great incentive for people. And then, of course, they're going to start with their grand opening show or their launch party, whatever you want to call it, and that could be either virtual or, you know, in person as well. A lot of times people think that we have to carry inventory. So showing them it's a minimal investment, like really they're just purchasing their kit, and that's pretty much what they need to do. It breaks it down a little bit easier for them instead of them having to worry about having to invest a lot of money. And of course, they're going to make money when they do their very first show and their commission, okay? So another option to talk to people about, and like I said, with your hosts especially, is that they get to use their $25 or $50 kit credit when they earn it from their free products. And that's huge, because some people may not know what they want to do to begin with. They may say, I don't want to come up with a big financial investment. So them kind of coming out of pocket a little bit less, sometimes it's easier. And this month, you guys, with the half kit rebate for their kits, is awesome, because if someone says, well, I don't really have the money to do a party, you can potentially say, listen, let's do your party for you. We're going to get you some host rewards, and then we're going to get you a kit credit. And if they get a $50 kit credit, and then they do the starter kit for $109, so now they're only paying $59, but once they hit their first $12.50 in their first 30 days, they're going to get the they're going to get the other, whatever, $25 back from their kit as a rebate. And then, you know, their kit basically costs them $25 for over $450 for the products. So that's pretty cool. And that can be for any of the kits, obviously, but I just used that one as an example. Okay, so, you know, another post, obviously, that you can show for being able to, you know, see where they're at. And then, of course, another breakdown of the income. Okay. And then, of course, you know, why Pampered Chef? You know, people like to know that they get to work on the name, the fact that we've been around for 38 years. You know, everybody loves Pampered Chef. They get to earn the free products every season. The company takes care of the host rewards. There's no worry to take care of inventory, and you can earn business supplies as well. You know, that's when the new catalogs come out. As long as you're active, then they will send you some. They will send you some catalogs for the new catalog. Okay, and then being able to break things down for them of dates and such when you get them started. Okay, you guys all know what the kits look like. So here's a post again that I'll post that you can throw in a virtual party, and I do post this one. I actually do. And then I have often people will say, oh, you know, I already have a lot of the things in the starter kit, so I think I would probably do the deluxe, because they realize the value of it. Okay. So as consultants, does everybody realize that there's rewards that we get as a recruiter? Does everybody know that? Yes? No? So yeah, you're helping other people out and you're allowing them to get some great opportunities, but you as the recruiter are going to be able to get 30 Pampered Chef dollars every single time you get someone on your team, on your personal team, qualified, okay? You're going to start getting overrides as soon as you start recruiting people. So your percentage will grow as you grow your team. So the overrides, for those of you that aren't familiar with that, is basically you're making a percentage on your team members' sales, and that, you know, is to be, you know, 2%, could be 1%, could be, you know, depending on how many people on your team, but every little bit adds up, right? You can earn the trip points towards a trip, which everybody wants to be able to earn a trip for free, right? Like who doesn't want to get a trip for free, which is awesome. And I'll tell you guys, I went on my first trip this past May with Pampered Chef, and we went to Coronado Island. So I earned the top level trip last year, and it was amazing. It was super, super exciting. It was like going away with everybody that you knew, even though you didn't know everybody, because you had that connection that you're all Pampered Chef. And it was pretty exciting. And the way that they throw their, the last night party, I mean, it was just really great, things in your rooms that they gave you as kind of like a welcome gift and everything. So it was really fun. Developing, like I said, leadership skills. As you talk to people about training, as you're, discussing different details, you're also reinforcing it for yourself. So that's really helpful for yourself, as well as being able to help others. I love being able to grow my team, because that means I'm helping other people. And I really do honestly get the personal satisfaction from it. I've had a lot of consultants on our team ask, well, why would you do that? Or why would you have that? Or why would you give me my own party? Like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't I do that? Of course I would. I want you to succeed. I want you to grow your business. I want you to enjoy it. I want you to get all the benefits that I do. And I want you to get all the benefits that you want out of your business. And of course, you're going to get free and discounted products, as well as you continue to grow your team, because when you're a director, you have 5 people on your team, you get the new catalog products for the spring and then the fall. So you just start getting like boxes of stuff shipped to you, which is pretty cool. When I had that happen, I was shocked. So yeah, so that's really exciting. And then webinars. If you guys aren't aware that Pampered Chef does the webinars, and that is an opportunity for us to be able to share information with people that have interest in the business. And the next one is the 23rd, Tuesday the 23rd from 8 to 9 p.m. Central Time. So you definitely want to be able to post that information out for people, okay? And then some things to think about is, do you offer the invitation to the webinars? Do you or does your team have any like live look and learn events on Facebook? Our team does an event on Facebook twice a month that we run for about a half an hour, and we just have posts that we'll go through on some questions that people potentially would have about the business, information on it, so we can constantly be able to add people in there that are thinking about the opportunity, and they get that information. And us as a team, many of us will pop on and be able to answer any of their questions. And then of course there's a couple other posts on here as well. Okay, so basically we're still working on being able to work on our skills, but it's a big component of what we're doing and of your success. But the bigger that your skill is, the bigger that your commission check is going to be. So you want to continue to increase your skills and be able to work on the skills with practicing recruiting with a friend, write out your story and practice it. And that's something that we're going to actually have as homework that I'll talk about in a minute. So if you haven't already started telling your story at parties, whether it be on a virtual party, which you totally can just videotape yourself and reuse that same video for every virtual, or in home parties, definitely write your story out and practice it. And then I'm going to have that be part of the homework. And then you can practice, like I said, with the digital interview cards as well. Watching the trainings on PC University and YouTube are really great. Attending your own team meetings, whether they're Zoom or whether they're in person. Starting to save for national conference. If you have not been to national conference, you have to go to national conference. I went my first year and it was mind-blowing. I set myself goals for myself personally. I said that for my conference the following year, so that would have been my second conference this past August, I wanted to be able to earn excellence rewards. I wanted to be able to have earned a trip by conference, and I did both those things. So had I not set those goals for myself at the prior conference, I probably would not have met them because I wouldn't have known about it. So definitely get there next year, July, for a conference, because it's going to be awesome. The coffee talk calls, if you guys do not know about those, they are calls that are every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. It's a different topic each week. I have my alarm set weekly that goes off at 9 a.m. If for some reason I cannot listen to the call, I can listen to the playbacks because they are all recorded. And then you can actually read different books if you wanted to on direct selling or, you know, whatever other books you can get your hands on for that. And then the more you do shows, the more comfortable you're going to be, the more comfortable you're going to be talking about the opportunity with people, and it's just going to become more natural. Okay, so homework is going to be, and I'll post this in the group, listening to this amazing, amazing Recruiting from the Heart training from Julie Aldridge, life-changing really for her, and life-changing to listen to, and just realize the potential of what you can do for somebody else. And like I said, I'm going to have everybody, you know, write up your story. You can type it and put it in the group if you want to, or you can do a little video and kind of tell us what you would say in a live party. So that is going to be the homework this week. Does anybody have any questions at all? I know it was a little, I think it was a little long, but I'm a talker, so I'm gonna apologize. Does anybody have anything they want to ask or anything that they want to say at all? No? Okay. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying thank you. That was a lot of good information.
Oh, good. Thank you. I'm glad. I apologize for going a little, I think I'm a little over. But it's a lot of information because, you know, you want to be thorough, obviously, with sharing it. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. So thanks so much, everybody. And you guys all have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.